some kind of brain-machine interface that can give you cybernetic superpowers, I think is probably good. It could, help people that have brain or spine injuries, restore, enable people who've never spoken for years to speak again, which we've done. Give people eyesight who have lost both eyes or the optic nerve, or maybe have never even seen at all, blind from birth. By direct interface to the optical centers in the brain, you can actually restore eyesight or give people eyesight that they've never had before. And you can enable people to walk again, which I think is profound. I mean, these are kind of Jesus level things, like, let's say, like when technologies are hitting like Jesus level miracles, like, that's pretty good.
Yeah. How do you, again, it's asked a lot, but it's fun to ask it to you. How do you prioritize? I mean, because you're right, you've got multiple deities here if these are Jesus level solutions.
Yeah.
Which one do you serve?
Jesus level, you're like, okay, that's pretty good. Some kind of brain machine interface.
All right, hey, shalom, shalom, Israel. All right, this is the brother Shaquat Rakah coming from Great Millstone Temple. All right, coming back at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah. And first and foremost, before I start this lesson, I want to give all honor and glory that's due to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem, Hakadash. All right, Yahweh and Yahweh Shah being the true names of the Heavenly Father and the only begotten Son, written in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, who this world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ. And I also want to give double honors unto our apostles and bishops of Great Millstone, who taught us His truth and ruleth well. All right, and today just want to touch up on this clip you seen, which I came across this clip. The brother Tazamak, showed me this clip. And this is way back in May 19th, and it's funny, 2 months, a month later, it's June, right? It's June, which that's an inside joke, within Israel, right? But it's like it's June 19th now, which that dumbass June 19th shit they about to have today, But this is the first time I actually heard it, because I remember back in May, it was articles coming out about it. This is my first time hearing him saying this out of his mouth, that these chips are gonna have Jesus like miracles, and this is just prophecy playing out, right before your face, man. Which which the spirit always has me grab this scripture, when I get into this topic of the mark of the beast, because it's a heavy time of judgment, a heavy time of prophecy, and it's literally happening right before our eyes. So real quick, let me turn this down. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Yeah, the visions is going to what? The prophecies that's taking place, right before you people's eyes. All right, and the Lord has it set for an appointed time, because really the main prophecies is really the MOTB number one, Jacob's trouble in World War III, and ultimately, Yahweh Shah, the only begotten Son, who this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, making His return. And we're seeing the signs of the Lord making His return. We're seeing prophecy taking place. And we're in the beginning stages of all these prophecies, but it's speaking and it's not lying. So your average Joe can see that, the mark of the beast is the RFID, a microchip spoken of in Revelation 13, which we're gonna grab. All right, but these visions are speaking. Okay, but meanwhile you got other camps, false Israelite leaders, I'm telling you it's other than it's everything but what it is, in which, I always say through the spirit, like humbly speaking, these guys just had to sell out, because this is something so plain, bro. It's something, it's common sense, so it's like you can't be that stupid, humbly speaking. You can't have something not clicking up there, for you to the point is you can't be that stupid. It's obvious that It's plain that the MOTB, the mark of the beast, is the RFID micro C hip, but these other guys will tell you it's sin, sleeping with white women, a tortilla chip, you know, you didn't heard it. They'll tell you it's June, ain't no microchips. Jake is through, man. But it says, throw it, Terry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Yeah, these prophecies are speaking, okay? These prophecies are speaking, all right? And these prophecies damn near having a full blown conversation. Because literally, the prophecies, the main prophecies I just named through the spirit, they're happening right before our eyes, man. All right. So real quick, because let me go through these comments. But no technology can save us, which first of all, name not Jeer. I don't even want to say that name. This is so wrong. Yeah. End time signs, yeah, because this is the prophecy the Lord spoke about. All right, let's read it. Revelation. And I ain't gonna make this lesson too long, but Lord's will. I pray this lesson is edifying. Lord's will exhorting, because you definitely need that exhortation as we hear in the end times. Revelation 13 and verse 14, it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had a wound by a sword and did live. And the image of the beast is referring to what? The New World Order, the NWO, the wicked agenda where they want everybody under one religion, on one subjection, under one order. And how they gonna try to establish that? Through their microchip, man, the C hip that thing gonna roll out. All right. And it says deceiveth them by what? The means of those miracles. And let's play back what he was saying. He said Jesus like miracles.
Direct interface to the optical centers in the brain, you can actually restore eyesight. Will give people eyesight
Restore eyesight. So help the blind see again.
that they've never had before, and you can enable people to walk again, which I think.
And check it out. I see the spirit keep leading me to that video, man. Mr. Beast. Yeah. Check this out.
$1,000 technology
Help the people that can't walk, right?
planted into the brain, enabling people like Nolan here to surgically implanted into the brain, enabling people like Nolan here to reconnect to the world. So you were paralyzed from the neck down.
Yeah, and for about 8 years, I was trying to find some purpose in my life.
And then you got Neuralink, and what has that changed?
Anything anyone can do on a computer, I can do.
And he literally does it by using only his brain. You are currently moving that with.
And this is just shit so demonic, dog. But this is what's coming, man. All right. Everything is. I can't even say things about to go digital. Shit is going digital as we speak, man. At the end, it should speak and not lie. So it's a heavy time of prophecy, man.
Your thoughts.
Yeah, man.
I want to see you send a text with your brain.
Okay.
His hands are paralyzed, but we're going to film them so you can see they're not moving. And using the neurons firing in Nolan's brain, Neuralink can translate those signals into movements. He just typed hi with his mind. Is this not crazy to anyone else? But that's not all he can do. So you just think left, and you're about to turn left.
Left, right, don't die.
No!
There we go.
He absolutely crushed us.
But they're gonna have it to where they're gonna try to make this guy walk again. Watch. All right, but let me do this. Let me go back to that video.
Brain machine interface, which is profound. I mean, these are kind of Jesus level things, like
Jesus level things, right? And which the Lord's gonna get these devils, which the devil the Bible speaks of are the so-called Edomites, the so-called not so-called the Edomites, which would be the so-called white people, but most importantly, the top wicked elite. That's the rulership that governs the whole earth right now. That the Lord blessed with the fatness of the earth, that he blessed with the sword. And ultimately, he's given them this left-hand power to roll this thing out. Because really, this is the Lord's chip. And that's that hour of temptation. But real quick, but the point being made with these miracles, they're going to have it to where you can't walk. You're going to be able to walk again. You can't see. You're going to be able to see again. They're going to be giving out gifts, etc., bro. They're trying to deceive you. But here's the point, verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, and they're gonna have it to where, if you don't get down, basically, I remember a movie I grew up watching, State Property, and a famous saying on Beanie Siegel, the rapper, he said, "You either gonna get down, or you gonna lay down." And hey, that's the spirit Yahweh Shimon Shah is coming in, 'cause he's the ultimate Jake. And the Lord's basically telling our people, you either gonna repent or you gonna die. You either gonna get down or lay down. And ultimately, the Lord got that same spirit on Esau on the left hand side. You either gonna get down or lay down. That's why their slogan for the NWO is what? Show no mercy. All right. And you got certain brothers, which is not gonna be every brother. I believe it's not gonna be it ain't gonna be every brother. It's gonna be more brothers. Because the Lord said there's some standing here that should not taste of death. And I believe it's a lot of those individuals walking amongst, but you have certain brothers that's gonna be martyred, and that's part of their testimony. But guess what? They're gonna be the first ones risen up, because John the Revelator said he's seen the witnesses of those of Yahweh Shah Hamashiach that were beheaded, roughly paraphrasing, and also in the book of Revelation. But here's the point: He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Yeah. And so it don't matter who you are, what kind of status you have. Just simply put, it doesn't matter what kind of status you have, how much money you got, whether you locked up, whether you voted for Trump, whatever, bro. Whether you employee of the month, your average law-abiding citizen, you got to take this thing, man. Whether you rich, poor, homeless, whatever. But it says in that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So without this thing, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. Cause how do you maneuver in a society? You gotta buy and sell using cash, credit cards, Apple Pay, and all this shit, right? And now you could use crypto, which I gotta get into. But hey, soon enough they're gonna tell you you're gonna need an implement, and that's we got to just tell these devils, fuck you. We done with this, man. To hell with you and your system. It's ultimately it's a great time of testing, that's coming, man. All right, which we gonna real quick. And do not take that chip, because we got to push this out, bro, because it's a lot of new brothers. We in the end times, there's gonna be a lot of new brothers and sisters waking up. There are. Let me correct myself. There are a lot of brothers and sisters that's waking up. You know, the times, the Lord's shortening the times. A lot of, like I said, a lot of prophecy is taking place. You know, and the Lord is moving, bro. The Lord is making His return, man, and we see it. All right, but when all that hell breaks loose, what are we gonna be doing? Which I'm gonna grab. Because we have nothing to worry about. Because if you take that thing, you're gonna get Revelation 16 and 2, and then you're gonna get what? Revelation the 14th chapter. You're gonna get the 9th verse, the 10th verse, and the 11th verse, and that's gonna be a different um, that's gonna be a different type of fire, man. All right, but real quick, this is what we're gonna be doing, because it's all about balance. Because you take that MOTB, you can't repent from that. You're gonna be destroyed. All right, but it's a lot of people gonna give in, and it's gonna be a very few that's not gonna give in, because this is what they're gonna be doing. The book of Isaiah, chapter 10 and verse 20, and it shall come to pass in that day, yeah, when all that hell breaks loose, right? That the prophets have been, warning you people about, starting with our apostles and elders going all the way down. It says that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. Yeah, because we're not gonna rely on these devils no more, because we under the curses. As the Israelites, a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, we under the curses, bro. And one of the curses, which is spoken of in the curses, go from Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, from the 15th verse, going all the way down to verse 68. And one of the curses in verse 48 is what? We go to this devil for the what? The want and need of all things. So you want a new car, new house, you want a new shirt, food, water. That's wicked, bro. You gotta buy food and water that the Lord gave us. But that goes to show you we in captivity. But we gotta go to this devil. When he rolls this thing out, we gonna just say fuck you. And we gonna have to, excuse my French, but we gonna have to 144% just put our trust and faith Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And that's why, the Lord puts us in our different trials and tribulations, because it's all really just a test. And if you be amongst that remnant, the chosen ones, the Lord already predestinated that you're gonna get through everything He pushed you through. Okay, but it's all just a test building us up for this time period, man. But it says, but shall stay upon Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. So yeah, we gonna rely on Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So we ain't got nothing to worry about, man. And we gonna be taken care of, because this devil gonna starve you people out and gonna tell you this the solution. Because right now we're witnessing a poly crisis, and you should, brothers and sisters that's watching, definitely look up that term in the chat GPT. When you get it in your own time. But we definitely here, bro. You definitely in them times, man. All right, and the devil gonna come with that solution. It's gonna be that MOTB, man. All right, but real quick, let me see. Hold on. But yeah, Salakia. But we in those times, man. Of course, they had to pull this shit up. Don't want to see no damn Adrian Broner, man. All right, but let me grab a couple more scriptures, and I'm gonna close it out. And I also want to grab this. Yeah, I got two more. We can close it out. I don't want to make this lesson too long, but we got to push this out. This is a major prophecy. It's a life or death situation, man. And you guys that's not pushing this out, that's teaching false, doctrines, the Lord's gonna deal with you personally, man. All right. But Revelation 3:10, and I want to read this in the NLT. I like the NLT version. Revelation 3:10. Because you have obeyed my command to persevere. And let me grab that word real quick. Oh yeah. Persevere. Yeah. Let me make sure. Okay, we good. I had to make sure I'm still connected to the headphones. But it's the word persevere in the etymology online. It says to persist in what one has undertaken, to pursue steadily a design or course. It says continue, persevere, endure. And that's all I wanted. Because, and what did we persist in what one has taken to pursue steadily a design of course? There's truth, right? It says endure. And the Lord is saying, you know, because you stay down, you stay loyal, I'm going to look out for you when you need me the most, you know? And you notice it's not us, it's the Lord. And it's already predestinated, who overcame the hour of temptation, man. All right. So real quick, it says, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the whole world to test those who belong to this world. And ultimately, it's just a trial of your faith to see who you serve. Do you serve Satan or do you serve Yahweh Bashim Yahushua? And a lot of these people, they're going to give in to Satan because they have no faith, man. All right, but it's all just a test. But like I said, it's already predestinated, who overcame the hour of temptation, overcame the 6, 7 troubles, right? Overcame the beast, man. Got the victory. It's already predestinated. Who already got the victory, And it's a high chance it could be us as long as we just keep enduring. All right, and let me close off with this predestination, right? Yeah, this is Romans 11:4. We just talk about some predestination, right? It says, "But what saith the answer of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal." So the Lord is saying He already reserved Himself a complete number of men, because when you go into that number 7, it goes into what? Completion. So it's not talking about exactly 7,000 men. No, it's talking about the 144,000 and ultimately the remnant, the great multitude. Because let's not forget about the 1/3, the great multitude, of believers, bro, which consists of other men women and children that's also predestinated for the victory, right? It's also predestinated, to be immortals. Okay, but let's not forget about that. But the Lord already got it predestinated. Who got the victory already, man? All right. So hey, they rolling this thing out. They pushing this thing out, and we here, man. All right. It's a heavy time of judgment, heavy time of prophecy, man. So hey, with that, Lord's will, I pray this lesson was edifying, and hey, I pray Lord's will is exhorting. It's like I said, we definitely need that exhortation here in these last days. And I'm closing out. I want to give all honor and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Chakadash. And once again, I want to give double honors unto our apostles and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and ruleth well. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom, Yahweh, Barak meaning Lord's will. On to the next. Shalom.